What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Marcus.
And I'm Shelby.
And we are Crugers with a C. What's going on, honey?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Just ready to get on with this podcast today because I think that this is something that is needed. Mm-hmm. I think it's something that should be discussed. And it also could be maintenance. Maintenance in your
relationship.
Now, we married. So what we're going to talk about is spontaneity. Did I say that right?
I believe you did.
What do you feel when I say spontaneity?
Just doing things out of the blue.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's break this down. We ain't got time for the foolishness today, y'all. We got to get right into this. Do you feel that spontaneity is good?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
It brings excitement, surprises. Mm-hmm. It kind of changed things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it was spice. It gave a little spice into the relationship.
Okay, so over the years, can we be honest? Can we be real? Can we tell them our business?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that our spontaneity has declined?
Yes.
Why?
Everything. Life, mm-hmm. Time, children. Yeah. Everything. And what about you?
I think that it has. But I think that all of those things that we said, that you just mentioned, had an effect on it. And then I think that, you think that's why people say their marriages get boring?
Yes, but I have a question for you. Do you think mm-hmm. people have a misunderstanding about spontaneity? Did I say it right?
Spontaneity? Yeah, because the last episode you showed messed that lady name up.
I ain't mean to.
Call her facility.
Do you think, people think it's only supposed to be in the beginning of a relationship, like when it's fresh and new?
I don't think that they notice it.
Okay.
I don't think that they notice it. And then once you don't notice it and you start talking about stuff, like just say for instance, if you don't got communication, you can never find out what's wrong with your marriage before it's too late. Mm-hmm. So if people don't ever talk about stuff and understand, like, this may be a problem, or we used to do this, or we used to do that, and they never sit down and discuss what happened, then they won't know it.
Yeah. So
that's one thing that I'm glad we could do, is talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we might not agree all the time.
Yeah, lately that's been the case. But yeah.
Okay, but let me say this. With disagreeing with something doesn't necessarily affect your relationship in a negative manner?
No, it shouldn't.
No, I'm saying for us, do it affect us in a negative manner?
No, it hasn't. It just, I believe that it just opened our eyes about stuff and teaching us how to look at things from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. It's hard sometimes, I'm going to be honest, mm-hmm. to open up your mind and see where that person is coming from. Definitely when you feel like they're aiming it towards you or something. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So basically you talking about me. You feel like I be aiming towards you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. But you gotta look at it like this. If this one thing, we're gonna get back to spontaneity, right? But even though we're married, we still have different points of view. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that we forget about.
Yeah.
I think that affects your spontaneity.
Yeah.
Like, for me being the man, you being a woman, I'm the husband, you the wife, I'm Marcus, you're Shelby.
We still individual people.
We're still individual people. And I believe that once we have a relationship to where I have to think like you have to think and you have to think like I have to think, then it becomes compromised. Because that person is not free to speak what they have to speak. Mm-hmm. Now, I can say on certain things, it's an absolute must that you need to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. Like how to raise your children, like important stuff.
Yeah.
But even lately, I've had different thoughts about how we raise our children. Like, I'm not hitting my kids no more.
Yeah, I know.
So even with that, if you say that you would, that's fine. But I don't feel like I am because my beliefs have changed. Mm-hmm. So now I just think that once we start to feel like we have to be programmed to think the same way that's when your spontaneity kind of is compromised.
Yeah, there's no different thoughts, no different perceptions,
Mm-hmm.
nothing new.
Right.
It just becomes repetitive.
Right.
And kind of stale. So, yeah.
So, I think that's, like, I should be able to come up to you and talk about anything that's on my mind. Anything, whether, like, it's certain people who said, you can't say this to your wife because she's going to think one thing.
But I think our relationship always been like that.
I think it had, but then I think it was at one point to where it kind of, like, when we hit a rough patch, it was like, I don't want to say this because it might make her feel that way. Mm-hmm. But when you think about that, that kept us in bondage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. It kept us in one place. We didn't grow. I think that in relationships, definitely a husband and wife, you get to see the bad, the ugly, the inside, the outside. So you should be able to share everything. Mm-hmm. And I think we should be comfortable. And we shouldn't feel like one another will look at each other any kind of way because we have those thoughts or we think that way, or I think that's the problem too. We feel like our significant other is gonna judge us. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be no judgment here. You done seen me cock diesel have a baby and probably pooping at the same time.
I saw it all.
You done seen my insides. Mm-hmm. So I should be able to tell you everything.
Right. But why do you feel like people don't feel that they should be able? They could go talk to their significant
just like I said, because they might feel like that person will judge them.
Besides being judged, like, what do you think?
They haven't gotten to that point. I don't know. No, I can't say that because we never had that where we had to get to that point. Mm-hmm. They must not be comfortable with that person, or they don't know that person enough. I don't know. I can't explain that.
What about worrying about the other person's reaction?
Probably. Mm-hmm. That has to be it, because I can't never, in our relationship, we never had that. Mm-hmm. We always was just open from the jump. So maybe that is it. They're worried about that other person's reaction. Yeah,
I remember, I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was like the man and the woman. The man liked to drink. Right? He don't like to drink and drive. He don't like to drive. He don't do nothing crazy, but he liked to drink. But it was like when he was with his wife, she was trying to live life one type of way. He was living another way. Mm-hmm. And she tried to force him to be like her. Mm-hmm. I think that would cause problems.
Yeah, that will cause problems because you can't force anybody, and I feel like definitely a man to do mm-hmm. anything.
I mean, he did it. He fulfilled.
But he wasn't happy.
He wasn't happy.
That's selfish too. Mm-hmm. You have to. You guys, you're an individual person.
I don't think we realize that. I don't think that people realize it, because in a relationship, it's like I hear so many people talk about, "Nah, I ain't gonna do that," but like, really, why aren't you gonna do it?
Okay, so I think we have to realize that we're individual people, mm-hmm. and because you love this person, you compromise a little bit. Mm-hmm. For instance, you don't like love stories.
No,
I do. I don't like shoot 'em, bang, bang up killer movies.
Right.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will sit with you every now and then and watch one of those.
Right.
Maybe with my hands over my ears and my eyes, but I'm still compromising and spending that time with you,
right.
and vice versa. But we still are our individual people.
Right.
So I think that's what people in relationships and marriages need to understand, mm-hmm. that I'm not forcing you to sit with me mm-hmm. to watch a movie, right. a love story. You chose to do that. Right. Because you love me, mm-hmm. and vice versa. So I think we need to have that openness too as well. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I know you don't like sports. I think, okay, here you go. I think you have to know your spouse or your significant other too.
Yeah.
So that's important.
I don't like sports, but if you're watching a game, I will watch it with you.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, just being around that person, doing with them what makes them happy.
Yeah, because at the same time, that should be your best friend too.
It should be.
And if you should be able to clown with your best friend, even if it's a boring situation for you, somehow, some way, y'all should make it fun together.
Right.
And that's what having a best friend first and communication should bring out. That's what I believe.
Okay. That's good analysis. Let's get back to spontaneity. So we just broke down that each person is an individual.
Right.
And the relationship should not be robotic. It should not be programmed to thinking that each person has to think the same way.
It shouldn't be forced.
Right. Now, I believe one thing I think that spontaneity does is let's give a category of spontaneity. Romance. We talked in the beginning about how much our spontaneity has been affected over the years, and we talked about life. We talked about kids. We talked about everything else. What was a key thing that you could think about in our relationship that was always spontaneous and we just did it and we enjoyed it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Like, being spontaneous is exciting because I think in life you fall into the plan of, I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to fix this, I have to make this has to be done, till you just forget about stuff.
Yeah, I think being spontaneous is like a shock factor for both of you. It's a surprise. No plans. Just do it. We ain't did nothing like that.
Like, I'm going to say my sister, she's one of the most spontaneous people I know. Like, she'll be sitting down and be like, let's just ride to Orlando. We ain't going to get nothing. Let's just ride.
Yeah.
You know, I think stuff like that is good. It'll create that memory and you spending time together. But I think as far as when we consider romance, I like when I could just come home and get a kiss. You know, not the, hey, how you doing kiss.
Hey.
No, yeah. Hey. It's that, hey. How you did it?
That kiss that's going to lead the song.
Yeah. It might. But just, like, when the last time you gave one of those puppy love kisses? That makes sense? You know what puppy love is? Like, when you just love this person, you just want to kiss them all day.
Yeah.
Like, when the last time you did that in your relationship? Let's be honest.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When is the last time we did stuff like that? Like, little spontaneous things like that, for me, that might get the dishes washed.
I need to rethink that, ladies.
You know what I'm saying? It might lead to something. And if you're suffering in your communication, you're suffering with, you know, just the whole romance part of your relationship, what are you going to do for maintenance? What are you going to do to fix it? What's romantic to you? No, don't be telling our business like that. Something that I do that you find romantic. Because I hate to have to, my hands up to date. Let me just say that.
What?
My hands up to date.
What that mean?
I can fight.
Child. Well, I do like when you check on me. I think that's romantic. That's like you're thinking about me throughout the day. So I really do like that.
Okay.
Because, you know, we had a time where I had to call you 100 times and you wouldn't answer your phone.
Well, in the same way, I like when you check on me too.
So, yeah.
You know, I just think that stuff like that, for me, that's not routine. Because I don't call you, I call you the same time when I get off work. And that's just to make sure everything good, you cool, you know? Yeah. But throughout the day when I'm calling you, sometimes I'm like, dang, I ain't talked to her in a minute. I ain't heard from her. I got to hear from you. You know, so I'm making sure that I check up on you. You know, I think it's kind of routine, but at the same time, it's kind of spontaneous too, because it's like, hey, wait a minute, I ain't talked to you. It wasn't a set time that I was supposed to call and check up on you. You know, so I think like little stuff like that will keep us in contact. But I think the biggest thing here lately for us is spontaneous conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had one that we did not agree upon.
Right.
But did we grow from it? Did we learn something from it?
Yes.
And I think a lot of times
But we've been having a lot of those lately. Spontaneous conversations.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's good. I think, at first to me it's not good, but I think it's good.
Why at first wasn't it good?
Because I just feel like all of them are just disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't like confrontation, but that's how I take them.
Mm-hmm.
But after we talk about them again and again and again, it gets clear.
But what's wrong with disagreements?
Nothing. It's nothing wrong with them. I guess I just don't like them. I like positive energy. It's nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Let's stay here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Disagreements. You say you feel like it's not positive energy, or you?
I say I like positive energy. Sometimes disagreements are not positive energy.
No, that's true. So what's so bad about disagreements that you don't like?
The way it makes me feel sometimes, and then I feel like it's always a confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I'm okay with disagreements, and I'm okay with disagreements as long as we're hearing what each other has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we don't think the same. We're not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're discussing something, I'm going to say my point of view, and I'm going to try to get you to understand my point of view. But if you say your point of view, I have to do the same for your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to listen to your point of view. I'm going to understand how you feeling. Don't necessarily mean that I have to agree with it, but I understand what you're saying. But this is why I feel like, what can we pull out of it that's facts? What can we pull out of it that's true? And what can we pull out of it to say, okay, this we can agree upon? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times people don't speak. How does the saying go? They speak to be heard. They don't speak to learn, or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm okay with disagreements because maybe I am wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I am wrong about something. But if we could pull out something to learn from, then I'm cool with it. And most of the times when you have a disagreement, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. It takes a while sometimes for hot-headed people. But yeah. We do.
I'm not pointing fingers.
Yes, you are. You do learn.
Because when you really look at it, like, we're total opposites. Mm-hmm. We're so opposite till we're the same. Like, your fuse is short. Mm-hmm. My fuse is long.
Extremely long.
Because I'm always going to try to get an understanding out of what's being said. Mm-hmm. Now it does come to a point to some people I have a short fuse because it's always the same thing with you. It's nothing that's changing. It's just this all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think that disagreements could help you learn if you really tuning into the conversation at hand and trying to learn something from it.
Mm-hmm. They do make you grow. Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And they teach you how to interact with your spouse. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to evolve over time.
So these are more stages in relationships. Mm-hmm. That's what we just have to understand. I think, now that you say that, I think that this part of our relationship is another stepping stone to grow. Mm-hmm. Because we've been having these debates more often about different topics. Mm-hmm. So it's just growing, making us grow up as individuals. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And they're actual debates. They're not arguments. Yeah. It's like it didn't stem from anything. It comes out of a conversation and we just discuss how we feel about it. Mm-hmm. Because I just like it. I understand it. And it's feel good to be able to have an intellectual conversation. Mm-hmm. It feels good to be able to talk to somebody and they're not the only one talking. Mm-hmm. It feels good to get feedback from somebody. Because sometimes a lot of times I find myself in those very types of conversation. I can't talk, or the person is just something I don't want to talk about, or just the person has completely no idea what they're talking about.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So, spontaneity and romance. What you think about romance and the decline of romance, the importance of romance, and spontaneous romance?
I think romance is important. I think that it's hard to keep track of at times. It's hard to maintain it. It is. But I do think it's very important because it makes you feel special. So you have to. I think you just have to make a point to remember it, and don't let life take it away. Because that can happen. It has happened. It will happen. Not sugarcoat nothing. It's going to happen, but you have to make sure you regroup and do something.
So what's your definition of romance?
A special activity.
Like?
Made just for that person. Planned. Well, that's not spontaneity.
It's not spontaneity. See?
But a special activity. That's all. Just for you and that individual. Nobody else involved. It has to include relaxing.
Okay.
I think all mothers probably want that a part of their romance package. We won't have time to relax. So I'm pretty sure y'all men do too. But definitely, if we're mothers and you going to take us somewhere for a romance, give us some time to get our feet done or something, a back massage or something. Y'all can do it. I don't care if my paint ain't pretty.
Yeah.
If you do it and I don't have to do anything, I think that needs to be a part. Just relaxing.
So on a scale of 1, I'm going to make this hard. 1 to 5. 5 being the highest, 1 being the worst. How important is that for you?
What, romance?
Yes. 1 to 5 now.
I'll say a 4.
So it's real important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a 4. What about you? Same 1 to 5.
Can I be honest right here? I think I don't pay attention to romance anymore.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. But you're scaling it. What is it?
Oh, how important? I really have. I shouldn't ask you that question. I stumped myself.
Because you're right. We don't pay attention to romance anymore. And why is that?
Like,
it's not because we're not in love with each other, right?
It's a lot of that's not
okay.
It.
So
it's a lot of factors. But okay, so let me go ahead and rate.
I just wanted to make that point. It's not because y'all are not having romance, or you fell out, or you're not doing anything like that. It's not because you don't love each other,
right?
It's probably other factors. But go ahead.
Now, I would say this. Let me define romance first. Romance is, for me, is that special time you give me. It don't always have to include sex. It don't. Contrary to what you may believe, it don't have to always include sex. It could be the small things you do for me, like really showing interest in me. That's romance.
Oh, when I bought you them fudge Oreos.
Yeah, that. But I'm talking about physically. But yeah, those fudge Oreos bang too. But like, if you come home, you rub my back. You come home and you touch me. You know what I'm saying? Like small stuff. You come home and just give me a massage while I'm sitting in the chair. It's the small stuff like that. That's romance to me. Kisses, hugs. That's romance for me. So I would say, actually, about a 3.5.
Okay.
3.5 is the importance of that for me.
Are you sure? It seemed like I thought yours would be higher.
I think so. I think I don't want to be over
ooey gooey.
Yeah, over ooey gooey. Because I ain't finna be sitting around here with socks on, with my legs crossed,
and a turtleneck by the fire, By the 5.
By the 5. But I think that romance is that's how it is for me. It's important to me. I'm going to say a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Now that's romance. Now let's talk about intimacy. Now that's a 7.
Your scale was 1 to 5. You done jumped. You done broke the scale.
So is romance and intimacy different?
I think so.
All right, what's the difference?
Because like you said, it's the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you earlier, what's romantic to me is when you calling me just to check up on me.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with intimacy.
Okay.
So yes, it's different.
So intimacy is like me and you just laying in the bed talking. That's an intimate moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just had to get clarification for myself. So that's how important romance is for me, and that's how I define romance. What are some of the things you think like factors as why we don't give each other romance?
Man, we be tired, our schedules and everything.
But is that an excuse? I mean, if is your relationship...
Sometimes it can be. But sometimes we just go through with our everyday life and don't think about it.
Mm-hmm. Like when?
Definitely during the week.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, how can we be intentional about giving romance?
I think with everything else, you got to make time. You have to be aware.
Because I'm thinking like next week, right? Mm-hmm. This is Sunday. So starting on Monday, how many times can you intentionally be focused on providing romance for me? Like, not that it's going to be generic, but just having it on your mind. At least now it's on your mind. Or that it's on my mind.
I mean, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
What was your question?
Like, how focused can you be on doing that? Like, putting romance back in your relationship.
I mean, if this is something that's important to me, I can focus.
That's
I can
the question,
do it.
too. Is it important to you?
Yes, it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to want it. You have to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want you to come half-seas with your romance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come giving me some sorry romance.
Oh.
I want you to...
Okay, sorry.
I just want you to... I want you to want to do it. So it can be special.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Like, we talked about this a little bit before we recorded about things that affected the romance. Mm-hmm. Like, we were talking about, it was a certain activity we used to like to do that's going to be between me and you.
Okay.
It ain't nothing bad. Like,
I can't think of the activity.
Kissing.
Oh.
Alright. So, now we don't put all our business out there. So, kissing was big for us, right? Mm-hmm. Then, over the years, it just became the church kiss. Like,
quick and fast and keep it moving. That's what it was.
I don't like that. You know, can we be honest? You always talk about a lady in the streets. Right?
But you want her to be a hat in the sheets.
Right? So like, what are some of the things that like, what happens? I want to know what happened, because I think that's so important to have in your relationship, because once that's gone, that's when I think people look other places. Mm-hmm. Or that when it comes in the form of something else and you're distracted. Mm-hmm. So why do we stop the thing that's going to keep us involved with each other, keep us happy with each other, sexually desiring one another? Like, what are some things that you think stop that?
I think I'm always going to stick with life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes, you know, if we just want to do a simple, or you want a simple,
Wait.
no, if you want a sloppy one, you know, maybe we just want to give a sloppy one, but y'all, after that, y'all be ready to go. Like, I just want to give you a sloppy kiss, but
That's
y'all be ready to.
that's true.
Y'all be ready to.
But
That's
but see, that's the thing too. How often is the sexual encounters like just spontaneous? See what I'm saying? We don't went from romance to sex. Well, I guess it leads there eventually.
It does.
But it's all together.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, if the romance was more present, do you think the sex would be so big?
Probably not.
I'm gonna just say this: men always gonna want it. We always
we
gonna
know
want
y'all
sex.
always be on point. Get
Yep.
it? Dun-dun-dun.
We're always gonna want it. It's not really a time when we're not ready. Okay, so let's understand that. Okay, but if the romance was there, get what I'm saying? I don't think that it would be so. I think you guys would be in the mood more as well.
Yes, because we are not just turned on like a switch like y'all.
Right.
We could flash y'all a boob, y'all ready.
Bingo.
Or we could just blow in your ear, y'all ready. We could do the simplest things. I mean, we probably can cut our cheese, y'all ready.
That wasn't a good demonstration.
I'm just saying, anything, y'all be ready. Us women,
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish. I just had a thought. That's why I said that. Go ahead.
us women, we have 100 things on our mind. And then, like, once those things gone, okay, yeah, then maybe we need you to rub and touch and squeeze a little bit. And we'll be ready.
All right. So the way my mind works, I'm trying to. When I hear stuff, I think about the cause to it, or what causes it. So you said that we're ready to go at any moment. Let's be honest. Like we always say, men are ready to go all the time. Do you think that over time, that the sexual encounters decrease because the woman may be tired?
Yes.
All right. Now, from a male's perspective, it's times that when it involves sex, I know that you're tired. Yes, I want to do it, but then it's like, I know you're tired. I'm not gonna bother you. Or then it turns into, here we could do it, but there's really no engagement with it, right? Until it starts to decrease. The sexual encounters are not physically pleasing. Like even though you might get a release, even though you might get that off your chest, but still, if there's no connection with you and me, then it becomes dull.
Right.
You know, so then at any time you do flirt with us, we might be like, oh, she ready, she want me. You know what I'm saying? So like we looking at it like, oh, she want it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, if we see that like you're showing interest in me, then yeah, I'm gonna be ready. I hope I didn't lose you. Did I make sense? Because I want to clarify that point.
No, you made sense. So is you? I'm guessing you're saying if the romance or the flirtation and the intimacy is more often for you guys, sex wouldn't be so I don't want to say aggressive. What's the word?
Desired? No, not desired. That's not right.
It wouldn't be such a big deal all the time.
Right.
So basically, if y'all get it on a regular, you're good.
I believe so.
Okay.
That mixed with, because contrary to what people think, men need attention. We need attention. We like, look, we put aside everything in life that we wanted and ask you to just be the only one for us. That makes sense. Like I say, men really do want to be in relationships. Men really want to be married. But over time, and we understand that life brings change. And it's some things that we can do to make life a little easier. And I think I do my part. But at the same time, I think that y'all are so overwhelmed, and I'm looking at it from y'all perspective, that y'all are so overwhelmed till you don't realize when you're so tired, so exhausted, so burnt out to that thing that we need that helps us to release our energy. When that's overlooked, or if that's put to the back burner, it kind of affects us.
Yeah, I can understand that, but going back to the woman being overwhelmed. Yes, if we have a little bit more assistance, I believe that will change a lot too when it comes to the bedroom, because we feel like we have to get the kids settled and or cook, feed, homework, make sure they had a bath, because sometimes they ain't gonna want to take it properly. They do what they want to do. They be in there wetting up the whole bathroom, and they do other stuff. So we have to keep them on track, and then once we finally get them in the bed, we exhausted, we tired, because we may have to go in there. Now I'm talking about people with little children,
right?
Because we may have to go in there and clean up the kitchen,
right?
So I just feel like if we work together as a team, you give the kids a bath and not clean up the kitchen, or vice versa. If we tag team this thing, we won't be as tired. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think it's important that those children, definitely the younger children, have a bedtime. Right. Because you do need mommy and daddy time. You need that time for yourself. That's how you stay sane.
Right.
So I just feel like if we had more help, not saying that y'all have to do all we have to do, but if we had more help, I think it will change a lot in the bedroom. I really do.
I see that.
Yeah, because if I'm cooking, while I'm cooking, you can do the homework, or like how you have a night to cook. You cook, I'm doing homework.
Right.
We should be getting that together, so we know 8 o'clock, 8 from whenever we go to bed, that's our time. Because everybody has been done 8, and now we have older children. Right. So everyone 8, we go in the room. Right. Because that older child is cleaning up the kitchen.
Right. And it take us 6 hours.
Yeah, but just as long as it's clean.
Unless you want to go somewhere, then it's done in 30 minutes. Hey, that's crazy.
Yeah. Or she's sick. Yeah. That kitchen be clean, boy, in about 10 minutes. But yeah, I just think it's important that we have a routine. Your children have a bedtime. They shouldn't be up. For one, they need to go to bed because they need that rest, because you get up so early. For two, I think this should be number one. The reason why they need a bedtime is for your own insanity. Sanity.
I ain't gonna let you go out like that.
For your own sanity, because if you don't, then you'll be insane. Right. So yeah.
I understand that, and I see that, but like, I'm there. I feel I do my part. I hope I do my part as far as helping out, but I think that romance and relationships are a key factor to sexual intimacy, as well in having an overall healthy relationship. Because if that man is getting, or the woman, maybe it's I don't know women who have a high sex drive. I just know you. See
you better.
So, but I don't hear women complain about it as much. But it could come to a point in a man's mind to where
I think women, I'm sorry to cut you off, Taylor.
Go ahead.
I think it's switched for us. When we get older, our sex drive get like y'all's now. Because you know why? We don't have nobody to take care of. The kid's gone. You gotta think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's nobody in the house. It's just you and the husband.
I don't know, I ain't that old yet. But I think, like I was going to say, it would have been great to lead with that, because after a point, a man can say, look, yeah, I do love you, but I'm turning it off. Like, I could be not attracted to you anymore. You know what I'm saying? A man could turn that off. You looking confused. Why you looking like that?
Yeah, what you mean?
Okay, because...
What you mean by a man could turn it off?
Like, he could turn off his attraction. It's just like, for instance, if he was in a relationship with somebody else, one time he probably was attracted to her, but he could turn that attraction off. and forever be done with it. Mm-hmm. Get what I'm saying? So during a relationship, if a man feels as though he's being disregarded when it comes to romance, sexual intimacy, he might love that person, but he still might just turn off the attraction. Mm-hmm. That makes sense?
Kinda.
Why it don't make sense?
How you jump to that? How you got it there?
Because we was talking about the sex drives.
Uh-huh.
And we was talking about the men have high sex drives. And you say, well, maybe. Then you said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Then you talked about how the women had high sex drives when they got older. Uh-huh. So what I was saying, it was probably cut off.
Okay. When they got older.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes. Now it does. That lost me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you was way back there.
I was like, what?
But I feel like that could happen. But I don't know. That's not proven. I just feel like it could happen. Mm-hmm. So I think sexual intimacy is a prime result of romance and spontaneity. Yeah. Because you have to be spontaneous sometimes. If everything is on a certain program, then we're going to know it's going to be the same thing every day. But let me ask you this. How much do you think social media interrupts romanticism and intimacy?
A lot, because a lot of people spend time on their phone. Mm-hmm. That's what they choose to do.
Okay.
I seen not weird. It was truthful. It was this artist. He was painting like all these real pictures.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was a couple having sex, but they both was on their phone. So that's real. Like, your phones are in the way of everything.
Right.
You know, it's just, they're a distraction.
A major distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, sometimes we be in the bed talking to each other, but we still be on the phone.
Yeah. So this is true.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
We're not exempt to it. We know this, but we still do it.
Yeah, but then sometimes we be on the phone, we be talking about what we see on the phone. So, I mean, it's not like we're totally disengaged, but we are. Mm-hmm. You know, so phones are a distraction. Social media, because everybody feel like they got to post everything they doing. I'm brushing my teeth because I'm getting ready to do it.
What?
I'm just saying, like, I'm getting fresh because I'm getting ready to do. I mean, like, you post everything that you're doing. So
this is a little off topic, but we was talking about posting everything that we're doing. This is a result of romanticism, because once you're romantic, you have kids. But it was talking about how kids' whole lives are put online now. They were born online. Yeah. And I was going to take a picture of me and Kaylin the other day. I'm finna put it on Facebook. She was like, no. Then I said, let me backtrack and retrace this. A lot of us don't even care if our kids.
Why she said no?
I don't know. But when she said it is. Mm-hmm. When she said it, I was like, I'm going to respect that.
Yeah, I mean.
She don't want to be on it.
She don't want to be on it. That's fine. But it's interesting that she said that.
Well, how many times do we put our kids on social media without them even knowing? They're on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely a 7-year-old saying that.
Right.
Because Paige, she want to not proofread, but it's like she want to review what I'm putting on there first. I got to run the photo by her.
But we do. So, like, we're their parents, but we don't even consider their thoughts about it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Paige is, how old she is? 16. Kaylin is 7, so it's so interesting that a 7-year-old is at the level of a 16. Well, she just said no, but Paige went like, I got to make sure this cute. I got to this and that. I mean, she took days to send in a ACT picture. Girl, if you won't send that picture in, it's just for you to take your ACT, because they got to upload a picture.
Oh, okay.
And she has until a certain day or I lose my money. I say, girl, listen. I am not going to lose basically $56 because you ain't upload no picture.
Right.
I need you to get it together. Mm-hmm. It's so serious for them.
Yeah.
And ACT, I don't even know who. She had like Tyra Banks gonna see the picture or something.
She might. You never know. But with that shocked me because I'm like, we don't put a million pictures of our kids online and never considered, hey, maybe they don't want to be on there.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting topic.
It was.
Child, you swear you done.
But what's more interesting is No, but I just felt like it was important for us to talk about romance, sexual intimacy, because I really feel like that's overlooked in relationships. Like, how often do you see people being romantic? Like us all the time, because I got my hands on you all the time.
Yeah, and how often you see people being romantic, you're like, they need to get a room.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that in a while.
I have. I guess because I work on a college campus.
But are they kids or are they older people?
They kids.
See, that's a difference. Why is that a difference? Because they're young. They're young kids. I'm talking about people like me and you who've been married for a while.
Nah, I haven't.
You know, except for like special occasions, yeah, you're going to see people being romantic all the time.
Or on social media.
Yeah, but like, how often do you see people being romantic?
No, I don't.
Unless it's real. Now, old people, all the time. Like when they walk in like when me and Kayla went to get ice cream the other day, there was an old couple in there. They were just holding each other. She was holding his belt. He had his hand, like, you know how you have your hand in the belt loop? Like, they were being romantic, but they were older. So I'm talking about people who's been married like in the 25-year-old range to the 35-year-old range. How often do you guys be romantic?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know, how important is romance in your relationship? How important is spontaneity? We got to break out of this stuff, because if we don't, then we'll be part of that percentage who's having troubles, and then actually leads to something else in your relationship.
So basically, we have to remember to reevaluate what's going on in our relationships, in our marriage, and make sure we stand on point, on top of it, and we getting it in.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing.
Okay.
So you got anything else?
No, I don't.
Any remarks of benediction?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Y'all just don't get no surprises when y'all getting it in.
Well, we got some surprises for y'all too, and you will find out the surprise on the next episode. So stay tuned. You know where to find us at. Thank you for joining us. Until the next time, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Shelby.
And we're Crugers with the C.